Welcome to the 2023 North Dakota State Volleyball Preview Show for the Northern Cache Jaguars as they embark on another journey to the state tournament for the fourth consecutive season. This year, they'll tangle with Lemoore Litchfield-Marion in the number 4-5 matchup and round off the quarterfinals at 7 o'clock on Thursday night. We will follow Northern Cache for all three audio-only broadcasts on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the Fargo here on yourliveevent.com. But earlier in the week, we had an opportunity to sit down with head coach Angie Jensen and the Northern Cache players as well to preview this upcoming state tournament, talk to them about some of their favorite sports memories and more. Before we hear from Coach Johnson, let's hear from the players first as part of the 2023 State Volleyball Preview Show here for Northern Cache. Part of our Northern Cache State Volleyball Preview Show is the Jags are heading back to state for the fourth consecutive season, and they'll do it in their home territory. Joining us now is Ellie Lucas and Resse Laaveg here, a couple of players on this year's squad. And first and foremost, guys, Ellie, we'll start with you, kind of being the older statesman, if you will. What does it mean for you, your senior season, one more time to have a chance to play with this volleyball team, but more importantly, at a state tournament?
Yeah, it's great getting to play one last go around with these girls because this team has been very, very special, and today to finish it off with my other four seniors.
And then for you, Resse, similar question. What's this journey been like for you with this your squad to see this team get back to a state tournament?
Yeah, it's awesome to see them be so successful this season. I just love being a part of the team.
And then what have you learned from Coach Johnson to the assistant coaches during your time here with Northern Cache? Resse, we'll start with you.
Yeah, obviously they taught me so many different skills across my 2 years on the team, but I think the most important thing they've taught me is confidence. They've really helped me build my confidence and communication on the court.
And same question to you, Ellie.
Yeah, I have to agree with Resse. Confidence is really big between me and Angie. She's always telling me to be more confident, and obviously skill-wise, teaching me over the last 4 years. But definitely confidence and just communication and off-the-court skills, both on the court and off.
And then for you, Resse, being an understatesman, if you will, being just a sophomore here, what have you taken from the upperclassmen? What are some things that you've learned from the juniors and the seniors that you kind of hope to carry with you, for the next year or two here for Northern Cache Volleyball?
Yeah, they've taught me so much. I think also the confidence and the communication part, again, they're just so helpful. And then also just digging like balls from hard hitters like Ellie, Josie. It's really helped me become a better passer. Yeah,
let's talk about that. When it's in the back row, the first time that Ellie or Josie swung up and there was no block at the net and you're in the back row, what's kind of going through your mind in practice?
Yeah, they hit hard balls, definitely. So it's kind of just, you got to be on your toes and be ready to dig that ball.
Ellie, for you here, what's something that you hope as a senior, so to speak? I always like to ask seniors this. What's something that you hope to kind of leave for the next Resses of the world or the next upcoming, freshmen of the world that have maybe watched you play or been part of the program?
Yeah, I just hope that they always think of me positively and just like maybe remember me in some odd situation because I've done some crazy things over the last 4 years, but yeah, I just hope they take the positive.
And then your favorite sports memory to this point, Ellie, what kind of comes to mind, whether it's on the volleyball court, maybe it's something with your family, you as a fan. What's one or two sports memories that you enjoy most?
I think just playing with my sister my sophomore year and my freshman year, especially my sophomore year, because we played like on the court together. My freshman year, I was on the bench, but it was just a great experience, and I can't wait to do that next year again.
And then for you here, Resse, same question. What's been a sporting memory to this point that you've enjoyed the most or most memorable?
I think it's got to be last year, the state championship. I didn't play, but I was on the bench with the girls, and it was really fun.
Yeah, and this year hopefully it doesn't start as late as it did for that one if it gets to that point again. For you, Ellie, you kind of mentioned on where you're heading off to next, or folks don't know. What's your next plans after high school is all said and done?
Playing volleyball at Valley City State with my sister, and then majoring in business administration.
What made VCSU just be the right fit? Did your sister recruit you at all during that time, or did it just make the right sense to go play at VCSU?
It just made sense. My dad went there, and then my sister. So it's just always been kind of a second home other than Northern Cache. It's been comfortable.
And then Resse, you still got a couple more years to figure out what you want to go to, but what's been a course of subject or a class that you enjoyed the most so far here at Northern Cache?
I think Two classes I really enjoy are art and then yearbook. It was really fun last year too.
So what did you all do in the yearbook then? What were some of the things you were able to do?
We did a lot of designing spreads, and then just like bouncing ideas off of each other, coming up with different headlines, writing stories.
All right, superstitious. We'll start with Ellie here. Is there anything you have to do in terms of putting the left shoe on before the right, listening to a certain music, having something to eat, anything that comes to mind in superstitious before you get to a volleyball match?
I don't think I'm super superstitious. Maybe just always. I don't think I have one.
Nothing crazy.
Maybe just like having the whitest socks.
Okay.
I always need to have a good pair of socks for games.
Okay. Resse, same question. Anything superstitious you do before a match?
Maybe not before a match, but I think when we mention state, we always like to knock on wood just in case.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one there. Final thing for you guys. What does it mean to be a Northern Cass Jaguar volleyball player? Ellie, we'll start with you.
I mean, it's been a great 4 years, and I'm excited to rep the jersey one last time for the last 3 games. And I've just been honored to be part of this program and meet the girls and build friendships with the girls on the team.
Resse?
Yeah, I agree with Ellie too. It's been great hanging out with my friends and then the upperclassmen too, getting to know them. I'm really proud to be on the team. And
awesome. Well, Resse, Ellie, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations again on making it to state, and best of luck at the Fargo Dome.
Thank you.
Joining us now, another sophomore and senior connection for Northern Cass. That is Josie Jensen, the senior, and Lauren Johnson, the sophomore, with us here. Josie, we'll start with you. I know we kind of alluded to it a little bit last week in Lisbon, but to be a senior, to have 3 more games at a state tournament, knowing that that's when your career is going to end as a high school volleyball player, what does that mean to you?
I mean, it means everything to me, knowing that we extended our season the longest it can be, and we're going to make the most of it. It just feels really good to end on such a high note.
And then for you, Lauren, what does it mean to be part of this club that's, heading back to a state tournament in program history again, a 4th consecutive season here?
It means a lot, just being able to play with my teammates and my friends. It's really fun to be a part of.
And from this particular point here, Lauren, as a sophomore, what's something that maybe you've learned from the seniors, you've learned from the juniors, you've learned from the upperclassmen here this season that you hope to take with you for, a couple of years to come here?
They've really just taught me how to work hard and how to stay accountable and be determined to complete our goals.
And for you, Josie, a little bit here as a senior, what was this like? Was this year different at all for you being a senior compared to being in Lauren's shoes a couple of years ago, being that underclassman, or does it feel like, it kind of has, every season takes a little bit of its own life? How have you navigated the senior season for you?
I mean, as a senior, your role kind of changes throughout all 4 years. So this year it was definitely a bigger step in the leadership direction. Knowing that like this is it for me, like there isn't next season or next week, like this is it. This is the last time I get to put on that Jaguar jersey. It gives you kind of a new drive and determination to win.
What do you hope that people like Lauren or those who are watching kind of take from you and your senior class, so to speak, whether it was within practices or in games? What do you hope that they take away from you and the seniors this year here, Josie?
I hope that they can see that we really care about everyone on the team, and that we really we bring our best every day into the gym, whether that be practice or a region championship. Like, we put everything we have into how we play, and we put everything we have into our teammates. And I hope that they carry that forward in future seasons.
And then for you, Lauren, here, from Coach Angie Johnson to our assistant coaches, what have you learned from them here in your couple of years with the program?
Like I said earlier, just staying accountable and staying determined to reach our goals. And I've learned to handle hard better, is something we say in the gym during practice. So that's one thing.
Handle hard better. Is there any other Angie Johnson isms that you've had in the last couple of years that might be handle hard better that you're going to kind of remember with you as you kind of move forward here, either as next season for you, Lauren, or the next chapter for you? Josie, anything come to mind for Angie Johnson ism?
I mean, mine was always control what you can control. Especially when I was blocking, I just wanted to get every ball, but I mean, hitters are going to hit around you, and you just kind of got to make sure you're doing your best and controlling what you can control.
Lauren, was there another Angie Johnsonism, or was that the kind of one that you take away with you?
That's the main takeaway, I would say, is handle hard better.
Take us through practices. I remember chatting with you the last couple seasons with this team, and you're saying sometimes practices can be just as competitive as volleyball matches. Did you kind of see that this year, Josie, I guess, kind of going through the last handful of seasons, that practices can be just as tough as maybe a region tournament or a regular season match, so to speak?
I mean, absolutely. It all starts in practice. You know, you got to be challenged to get better. When we warm up with Queens, I know our coaches are playing. There's some trash talking going on, but obviously all to just make us better. And you can't really grow as a team if it doesn't start in practice. So it always gets really competitive.
Lauren, take us through what's it trying to like to block a Ellie Johnson, a Ellie Lucas, so to speak. We're on the opposite side of the net there in some scrimmages.
Definitely a challenge, but I think it's very beneficial because, you know, we're going against big hitters in other games. So it's beneficial to have Josie and Ellie on the other side trying to make me better.
What's your favorite sports memory up to this point here, Lauren? What comes to mind? If you're a fan, if you're a player, maybe something with family and friends, what's one or two sports memories that come to mind for you?
I would say just being able to play with my teammates this year it's been a big thing. It's meant a lot to me to be able to play with my friends.
Same question for you, Josie.
All of the post-game hugs are always the best, whether it's Angie or Lauren or Noelle last year. I mean, Addy, our setter, like, just the connection that I feel with all my teammates and coaches is just, I don't think I could get that anywhere else. It's pretty unmatched, and it's just very rewarding to feel after games and practice.
As a senior, I'm sure you get sick and tired of hearing this question, Josie. What's your plans for next year? Where are you off to? What are you going to go study? Undecided, just kind of where we are now. What's your plans for next season? I'm going to study biology to hopefully become a PA eventually. Kind of still figuring out where, but yeah, that's the extent of my plan. Lauren, I won't ask you that question because you still got a couple more years, but what's a particular subject or class that you enjoyed the most studying so far at Northern Cass?
I'm taking anatomy. I really liked it so far this year.
What's it mean to be a Northern Cass Jaguar volleyball player? We'll start with Lauren on this one.
It means a lot just knowing all of our teammates and the culture of our team. It's very important. I would say it means a lot to be on the Northern Cass team.
Same thing, Josie.
I think it means we kind of hold ourselves to a different standard. We not only expect us to do great, but we work towards it. And as a team, it means you can lean on each other, you hold each other accountable, you get better together, not just individually, which I think is really important. I'll definitely carry that on to my future.
Is there something as a team or something as an individual that you have to do before a volleyball match when it comes to superstition at all? Josie, I'll start with you on this one. Is there anything you must do before it gets to a first serve?
Honestly, as basic as it sounds, I take a deep breath and just kind of look at the ground during the national anthem, and then just kind of collect myself, reset, and then get focused on the game is kind of my thing. Last year I was held Noelle's hand because she was in front of me, but this year I just kind of take a moment.
I like it. Lauren, anything for you?
There's no superstitions or anything.
It's all right. That's all right. You guys, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck here at the Fargo at the state tournament and moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, now we have 3 Northern Cass volleyball players who are making their way to the 2023 state volleyball tournament, as we said, a 4th consecutive season for this program here with Addy, Macy, and also Haidyn joining us. Let's start with the senior here. Addy, for you, we kind of alluded to it a little bit in Lisbon, but as a senior, knowing that you're going to finish your career at a state volleyball tournament, what does that mean for you?
It feels really good. It feels like a really good ending for us seniors, and I think just going back will be really exciting and reminds us of all the great things that we've all done. So yeah.
What do you hope that the couple of the players to your side or some of the players that are younger than you on the roster have taken away from this senior class? What do you kind of hope to leave for the next generation of Northern Cass volleyball players?
I hope we've left some humor, definitely shown what hard work looks like, what hustle looks like, and just putting all we can give into the game.
And then for you, Macy, what have you kind of learned from the elder classmen, if you will? What's something that you've kind of taken away from them during your time?
Yeah, they're really good role models for me, and I think I've definitely taken away like just like to be driven and determined and work together, like just being there for each other too, and like supporting each other always.
What is this season meant for you, Macy, here? What are some takeaways that you hope to take with you kind of moving forward, whether it's, in the game of volleyball or just, outside on a normal, day to day?
It's just been really exciting, I'm really excited for the future and like seeing where this takes us and hoping to win like around when me and my friends are on the court too. That's it.
Haidyn, for you, what's been a favorite sports memory up to this point with this year's team that you've enjoyed the most so far?
I would say just like sweeping the region tournament. I think that was really good, especially the championship game. That was fun. Lots of memories made that game.
Yeah, take us through that game because packed crowd, no one in the gym probably is going for you. Everyone's probably going against you being that defending champ. When you saw that point go down though, and you knew that, okay, we're heading back to state, take us through the emotions, just take us through what that kind of was as a rush for a player.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like lots of like happy and just sad emotions, like we've put just so much hard work through like the summer and all the season and just like finally like seeing that it's paid off.
And then for you, Addy, kind of as a senior here, what's your next plans in life? Once everything is all said and done, you get asked this question, I know, a million times during your senior year here, but what are some of the plans that you have moving forward?
Well, I'm still undecided for which college, but I am pursuing a nursing degree.
So what made nursing be something that you want to what made that a field of choice that you want to be a little more interested in and study?
Well, that's always kind of what I've been interested in for the longest time. And I love like caring for people and helping people. So yeah.
I like that. And then the next thing here as we go to Macy, not so much what your profession is going to be in a couple of years, but what's been a particular subject that you've enjoyed most studying so far or learning about at Northern Cass?
I've always been like interested in more of the science and math side of things, but like my favorite class that I'm taking this year is child development with Mrs. Miranda. It's been just like, there's just been like a lot of fun activities and I've really enjoyed it.
So what's the one thing you've learned so far from child development?
Not to get pregnant as a teenager.
Yeah, you probably get told that a little bit here during this time as well.
Oh, yeah.
Haidyn, for you in particular, kind of similar question, but what do you enjoy most or subject that you enjoy most, I guess, during your time here at Northern Cass?
I would say probably my sciences. I'm taking anatomy right now, so that's really interesting.
Is there anything chemistry, bio? Is there one that kind of stands out more than the others?
I'll say biology.
Biology. All right, Haidyn, best volleyball, or not so much volleyball, but is there a particular sports memory, whether it's with your family, whether it's you just being a fan of a game? What's the favorite sports memory that comes to mind all time to this point?
I would say last year, just like winning the state championship with my sister. That was a really great memory, something that I definitely won't ever forget, and hope we can do it again this year.
Macy, same question.
I would say it was really fun to be there when we won the region championship this year.
Addy?
Gotta say the state championship.
Yeah, 100%. Addy, another question here. What does it mean to be a Northern Cass Jaguar volleyball player? What kind of comes to mind when someone asks you that question?
Well, we've had a lot of success, and I know that came from being driven and like having that hustle in us and just putting in all the work that we can give like back to the sport and to each other. So
Haidyn, same question. What's it mean to be a Northern Cass volleyball Jaguar player?
I'm definitely very lucky. We just come into practice like every day, open-minded, hardworking, and we just have a great like coaching staff that helps us get to where we are.
Same question for you, Macy.
I'd say just like being really supportive of one another and always being there, and like along with what Addy said, like drive and determination, it goes a lot too.
All right, one or two questions left here. Superstitions. Is the team superstitious at all, or do you have to do anything in particular as an individual? Addy, we'll start with you. Is there anything that comes to mind when it comes to superstition for volleyball?
So last year I actually had a superstition, and it was knocking on wood every time I thought of serving. But this year I don't have one. But it worked last year for me, so that's good.
Macy, any superstition?
Not really. I kind of just like, I always have a routine when I'm getting ready that like the same knee pad goes on the same knee every time. I don't know. That's like mostly it.
Haidyn?
Yeah, I don't really have anything.
Nothing too crazy. All right, last question. Who has the hardest hit ball in volleyball if you were in the back row on the team that you do not want to have to be back there? Who comes to mind on this year's version of Northern Cass? So if you're on the back row and someone was coming across the net, no block up, who would you not want to see on the opposite side? Addy, I'll start with you.
Probably Josie.
Okay. Macy?
I'd say Ellie.
Okay. Haidyn?
Yeah, I'd say Ellie.
All right. Ellie gets this one round 2-1. We'll find out if that continues here throughout the season. Girls, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck here at State, and thanks again for everything.
Thank you.
Well, joining us now from the Northern Cass Jaguars, Arianna Anderson, alongside Tess Jalbert. We'll continue to call Arianna Ari for short during this time. But first question to both of you here. Tess, we'll start with you. What does it mean to be heading back to a state volleyball tournament with this group of girls here in 2023?
Yeah, it's an awesome feeling. I mean, playing with the same group of girls, obviously we lost our seniors last year, but I feel that we've like really grown into our spots, and we've worked so hard for this moment. And now that we're here, we like deserve it.
Ari, same question.
I just love playing alongside these girls, and it's, they're always have been my best friends. So like, it's a great feeling.
And then for you, Ari, as a senior here, what are your next plans in life, so to speak? If you made that decision, I know sometimes it's still undecided or to be determined, but after high school and everything is done, what are some of the things that you look forward to studying coming up next?
I'm going to be attending NDSU, and I'm either going to major in business administration or elementary education.
Okay. So what made NDSU just kind of be the right fit for you?
I've looked at a couple different schools, like I've reached out to UND and all them places, but like Fargo, just easy place to go, and it's by my family. So
Tess, not so much that question, but what are some of the topics or maybe some of the subjects that you enjoyed most studying at Northern Cass?
I would say the sciences. I enjoy my science teacher and like anatomy and stuff, and it's just always fun to like be able to learn about the medical stuff while I'm still in high school.
Is there any particular like chemistry, biology? Is there one that kind of stands out more than the others right now?
Yeah, college bio. I'm in that one, and I just love the class and the teacher.
For you here, Ari, what's a sports memory that comes to mind, whether it's with Northern Cass volleyball, maybe it's just you being a fan, or with some family and friends at a particular event? What's one or two favorite sports memories that come to mind for you?
I always loved playing alongside my sisters when they did play with me, and Tess here, playing alongside of her because she's my best friend. So.
And then Tess, same question.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, everyone is family. Like, we all love each other. We're all there for each other. And it's just awesome to be able to play with them on the court and then be with them off the court as well.
Ari, what's something that you've taken away from Angie Johnson or the assistant coaches that you think you'll take with you once your Northern Cass Jag days are done? What's one or two things you think you'll take away from them?
Definitely to handle hard better. That's one of our mottos this year and the past couple of years, and it definitely has helped me a lot.
I heard that already earlier, to handle hard better. Tess, is there a different Angie Johnson-ism that she might kind of say throughout a practice, or she says throughout a day that's different than handle hard better, which that's a great motto, don't get me wrong. But is there anything that kind of comes to mind for you here, Tess?
Yeah, personally, if like we're not doing so well or like we're not clicking right away, she'll just say, be better. And that's she doesn't have anything specific. It's just all around, be better, do what you can to be at your best, even when you're not 100.
Ari, what does it mean to be a Northern Cass volleyball player here this season and throughout your career?
All throughout my freshman year through here, it's been like different parts, and you got to like contribute different things for the team. But I just love being a part of this family because we all are family, and it's just like when you come to practice, it's like a completely different environment than when you're at school. So.
Yeah, take us through the practices a little bit. I know the last couple of years I've heard from players on the team saying sometimes practices can be more challenging than a particular game because of how heated it can be. Maybe there's some trash talking going across the net in a nice way. But Ari, take us through what a daily practice is. How much competition is there in a Northern Cache Jaguar volleyball practice?
Oh, there is a lot of competition. We usually started off with like queens that, it gets our blood boiling a lot because, coaches jump in and they do it with us sometimes. And that's a lot of challenge there too because they're all really good players too. And then we go into like different positional work too. Now there's always challenge there too. And then when it comes to scrimmaging at the end of the day, sometimes we have like different people that come in and help us. Or like if it's like an old person that used to go here or if it's like one of Andy's friends, they're always good competition for us. And I think it helps us a lot because when we get into those tough situations, we need to learn how to handle hard better. So
I like it. Tess, kind of same thing. What does it mean for you to be a Northern Cache Jaguar volleyball player?
It means a lot. Like just being able to be recognized as someone who plays Jaguar volleyball and knowing that like our repetition is good and on and off the court. It's amazing.
What is your favorite sports memory up to this point here, Tess?
Oh, there's a lot. Playing with my best friends and going to state. I think everyone just bonds so well, and it's so fun just to be able to go and compete with the people you love.
Ari, what makes a state so much fun to be a part of? What's this week of high school volleyball when you're one of 8 teams that are still playing, you're still vying for a state championship? What is this week compared to, August when you got day number 1 of practice or September when you finally get to, that first regular season match?
I feel like there's a lot more pressure, but it just makes it all 20 times more fun because like everybody knows about it. And like the entire school, like if you're just walking in the hallway, they're like, oh my gosh, good job. Like you did a great job. Like that just like means a lot because like our student section and like our parents and fans have been like a really, really big part of our winning. So
Tess, any superstitions that come to mind for you or as a team this season that you have to do before a first serve?
I mean, personally, I just listen to music all the time, and that's what I have to do. I have to listen to it in order to like get focused, get locked, do what I can on the court, and be good.
Ari, do you have any superstitions on your own side?
I'm usually listening to music with her, so we usually just connect our AirPods to somebody's phone and we just listen to music. So.
All right. What is the hardest drill for volleyball players in practice? What's the one drill that you see it on the sheet that you're like, yeah, I'm not going to like the next 5-10 minutes here coming up. Anything comes to mind? We'll start with Ari first.
One for me as a hitter is like our last 2 steps. Cause like we do a drill where you just toss the ball up and you have to get your 2 feet planted. That one is a little bit more difficult. It takes a lot of patience. I kind of gotten used to it over the 4 years. And then, I'm not a back row player, but passing progression, that's the big one too.
All right, Tess?
I'd say as a back row player, we have one that's called Don't Flinch, and it's a free-for-all. The setter is setting to the hitting lines, and the hitters are just going at it. And your job is to dig the ball in the back row with no block, and that one is definitely, it gets frustrating, but it's good.
All right, last thing. Ari, what's better, a sweet spike that ends up in a kill or a double thud where you get the block and it goes straight down on their side and you get the point? What's better? Is it either the kill or the block?
Personally for me, I would have to go with the kill because I love what our student section does with like our chant because like we all have different chants. So definitely that one. I love the blocking one too. We just changed it this year, but I would have to go with kill.
For you, Tess, is it harder to handle a spike? Is it harder to handle a tip when you're trying to get a pancake? What's the more challenging side of it here as a libero?
It just depends. I mean, obviously I'm reading the hitters at all times, but I would say when there's a hard driven ball and you just got to kind of relax and let it come to you and just be calm in the moment.
Ari and Tess, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here at the state volleyball tournament later this week.
Thank you.
3 more Northern Cache volleyball players join us as part of our state volleyball preview as we have Abby, Paige, and Brooklyn joining us here. Let's first and foremost, again, start here with Paige. Paige, for you particularly, what does it mean this season to be part of a Northern Cache volleyball team that's heading back to a state tournament for a 4th consecutive season?
Yeah, it's really exciting, and I don't know, I'm just really glad to be a part of this community and the team, and I really enjoy playing with these girls, and I'm just really excited to see where the rest of the season goes.
What has been a moment so far this season here, Paige, that you've enjoyed the most with Northern Cass volleyball? Is it the region title? Is it, going on a road trip to a tournament somewhere? What's a moment or two that you've enjoyed the most?
Like literally everything, but I really liked going to Nebraska and just like playing at regionals and playing with these girls. It's been really fun.
Abby, for you, here's same question to start with. What does it mean for you this season to head to the Fargo Dome and head to a state tournament?
I feel pretty good. It's nice to know that we have more games coming, and just getting to be around them and getting more like reps in and stuff, that also feels pretty good.
What makes this time of the year so much fun, November volleyball, Abby, compared to August, September, October with the regionals and now the state tournament? What makes it so much fun for you as a player?
Well, other than the cold, I really enjoy the bus rides because we're in so far into the season where we're just so comfortable with each other, and like things can get pretty crazy, but it's really fun.
Brooklyn, for you, what's it like to be part of a team that's heading to the state tournament as well?
Yeah, like they said, it's super exciting, and like I just can't wait to like see where we go as a team, and yeah, just get to be able to play some more games and stuff instead of just like having to end it at regional.
And then from there, Brooklyn, what's a favorite sports memory that you have all time, whether it's with volleyball, yourself as a fan of a game? What's one or two that kind of come to mind?
I just think of like the bus rides coming like from games and like going to games. I just like think we all bond as a team a lot during the bus rides and stuff.
For you, Paige, here, very similar last year with Noelle and Addy kind of being that 6'2" in that setter spot. How much are you guys talking in between matches or in between sets about, where a hitter's sweet spot is or what the other team's doing at the net? How much are you guys kind of talking about where to set up a, middle hitter, outside hitter, or even back row throughout a match?
Yeah. During games, sometimes we'll go off into like our own groups. So it'll be like hitters, middle, and then like setters and defense. And we'll just communicate like where we see open on the court and like who we think we should set to and like what we can tell them where to put the ball just to like end the match if it's a really long rally.
Take us through. Is it better on a quick transition where you set up a hitter and they just, hit one right down the line, perfect spot? Or is it pretty cool to pull out that dump kill? Which one do you like most as a setter?
I don't know. They're both pretty good. I think it's pretty cool that somebody can slam the ball down that hard. So I guess I would say that.
Abby, for you, what does it mean to be a Northern Cass volleyball Jaguar?
I think being a Northern Cass volleyball player means like setting an example for the younger girls, and we have a ton of girls who always show up to our games and are always cheering and always go out of their way to make sure like we know that they're there. So I think just being like, and we have such a good group of girls, I think just being like such great leaders and like leading by examples is really important. And I think that's something that this year we're really like thriving on, is setting a good example for those girls who one day like want to be in our shoes.
And then Abby, you being a senior, you probably get peppered this question as any senior is. What's your plans for the future? So what are you planning on at this point once your days at Northern Cass are done?
As of right now, I'm planning to either go to college for a dental hygienist or to become an elementary teacher.
Okay, so a little too different professions, yeah. But elementary teacher, dental hygienist, what just made those particular two professions kind of stand out for you?
When I was little, I kind of always liked going to the dentist. So I think, which is really weird, but I always enjoyed it. And I always told people at school, I'm like, oh, I have a dentist appointment, like I get to get out. So I think I've always just kind of enjoyed like what they do and like how they do it. And then for teaching, I really, really love being around kids. So I think if I didn't do something with kids, I would be wasting my time. But I just like being a part of like watching someone grow and being like the reason that they do better the next day. So I think that's why I lean more towards elementary teaching, because like that's when they're like growing up and like you get to see their progress like day by day. So I think that's why I lean like towards that.
Brooklyn, for you, what's been a particular subject that you've enjoyed most studying at Northern Cass?
I would say English, mainly because of the teacher. Like I really enjoyed Miss Ness and just like the way she like treats her students and stuff. But I also enjoy like science because I'm taking anatomy this year, and it's just like really interesting and like I don't know, I enjoy the teaching.
What does it mean for you? Kind of a similar question that I asked Abby just moments ago, to be a Northern Cass volleyball Jaguar player.
Yeah, like I agree with you, like having like setting a role model for like an example for the younger kids, because like especially with how successful we are, like I think they definitely look up to us, and just being able to like show them and like I don't know, yeah, they come and like support our games and stuff, and like setting an example for the younger kids.
For you, Brooklyn, superstitious at all? Do you have to do anything before you kind of get to a first serve? Anything you have to do before a match?
No, I'm not.
Nothing that comes to mind there. Paige, for you, anything that you have to do?
Just kind of focus in because I get nervous pretty easily, so I just have to like leave it out and just go for it, I guess.
Abby, same question.
I don't have one for like before a game, but like before every like serve that comes our way, I take like a deep breath. I've noticed I've been doing that recently, and I did that throughout the entire regional tournament. So I think that's definitely like a superstition thing that I do, is I just take like a deep breath before I like take my first step.
Brooklyn, what have you kind of learned from the senior class or those couple senior classes that have gone before you that you hope to kind of take with you once you're going to be a senior not too far around the corner here?
I would say just like the energy they bring to like the games and stuff. Like they're always like cheering us on, and like maybe we have like low energy, and they're always like there to like, hey, like be louder, and like just encouraging and giving like feedback and setting an example for us.
Paige, is there an Angie Johnson-ism or anything that comes to mind with the assistant coaches that you kind of hear throughout a day-to-day or week-to-week that you think you're going to always have that in your mind with being a volleyball player?
She says flush your mistakes a lot because a lot of us hold on to those and then it kind of affects how we play. So if we just like forget about it, but also keep in mind like just learn from that mistake. Yeah, I think that one sticks with me the most because
Abby, what do you hope that the senior class kind of leaves behind for the next group of girls that are going to be, upperclassmen and seniors next year?
I hope that the girls under me know that it's okay to make mistakes, but it's how you handle those mistakes and how you move on from them that will show your example. So like a bunch of them are going to be like the ones that people look up to next year. So for me, like it was really important for me to like get to know a bunch of the younger girls when I first like this season started this summer. So I just want them to know like being close with the younger classmen is really important because you might not think it, but like they really do look up to you and they want to be in your shoes. So what you do, no matter what it is, like how you say things, how you talk, like how you move even, or like even how you handle a tough situation, even just in practice, like that really will affect like how they learn and how they, because if they see something bad, then they're going to be like, oh, that's okay. But if you show them like the right side of it and show them like, yes, I messed up, but this is how I'm going to fix it, like that can go a really long way.
Final thing for you guys, what's more difficult, a pancake or trying to kick one over the net in the quarter play? What's a little bit more challenging, actually getting the kick or the pancake to keep a volley going? Brooklyn, we'll start with you.
I would say kick.
Kick?
You can do that some pretty.
All right, Paige?
Maybe a pancake, I guess, just because you have to get really low and stretch your body out.
Okay, Abby?
I'm going to say a kick because I think like pancakes are easier to get down for, but like you rarely ever see someone kick the ball and it stay in play. Like we might have had it happen a few times or like at practice or something, but like in a game it's pretty rare. And when it does happen, like people are pretty shocked and don't like know what to do. So I think that that's more difficult for sure.
Girls, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck here at State and moving forward as well here throughout this school year.
Thank you.
Three more Northern Cass volleyball players join us, part of our 2023 state preview show. As we continue here on YourLiveEvent.com, we have Faith, Addy, and alongside with Avery here. We'll start first and foremost with Faith. Faith, what does it mean to be part of this year's version of Northern Cass volleyball, to be heading to a state tournament? What does it mean for you?
I'm really excited. I haven't got to sit on the bench or like be near the court during a state tournament. I've always sat in the student section, so I'm really excited to experience that.
What has it been a little bit different this season with your role kind of going from the, so to speak, from the fans to being part of the team? How have you kind of learned and continue to grow, and how has that kind of been for you this year?
I've kind of just taken what I've been thrown. Like when I was first put on varsity, I wasn't expecting to go in that game, and when I did, I just kind of took my role and went with it.
Addy, for you guys, what does it mean to be heading back to a state tournament for a fourth consecutive season with this program?
It means a lot. I've grown with these teammates for so long, and it just feels good to accomplish another goal with them alongside.
Take us through the final point in Lisbon when you saw the final point go down that, okay, we know we're heading to state, the student section rushes you on the court. Just take us through that emotion. What's that kind of like being on a player, just knowing that you're heading to a state tournament?
We always had the goal and worked really hard towards it. So getting to the final point just meant a lot, and we felt really accomplished, getting one of our goals.
Avery, for you, what does it mean to be heading to the state tournament this season?
It's really exciting because, like Faith, I've never been with this team really before, for state championship, and it's just really fun because I can learn a lot from these.
Yeah, take us through a little bit too of what does it mean to be a Northern Cass volleyball Jaguar player here?
It's a really fun experience. It just means that you're part of the team, and on and off the court, we're all friends.
Addy, is there an Angie Johnson quote or an Angie Johnson ism that she kind of says that's going to stick with you, so to speak, once volleyball season is all said and done?
Handle hard better. She always says that. Just when hard things are thrown at us, just handle them well, and that's how you can get through them.
What's a favorite sports memory, whether it's with Northern Cass volleyball, being a fan of a game, or something in between here, Addy, that you enjoyed the most?
Definitely last year winning the state championship with all of my teammates, and how close I've grown with them throughout the season.
Faith, for you, same question. Just kind of when you kind of get to this particular point of the season, heading to a state tournament, what's been a favorite sports memory for you? I know you kind of mentioned being a fan, going to a player this year, but what's been, whether it's the volleyball court or just a sport in general, what's something that comes to mind for yourself with family and friends?
Probably the Oak Grove game. During the season when I was put on varsity, and then I got in and played, and then I had gotten my first varsity kill. I was really excited, so I had some happy cheers during that game.
When you get to
that, actually.
Well, it's always fun to talk with players who get to career milestones, but sometimes the first is always the sweetest. That first kill, what was kind of going through your mind going, okay, I can maybe take a calming collective breath. I'm at varsity. I kind of, made that first point.
Yeah, I had to really take a breath, and then when I got off the court, I just chugged some water and had to calm myself.
Avery, for you, what's a particular class or subject that you enjoyed the most during your time so far here at Northern Cass?
A class I really like is my foods class, because it's just it helps us learn how to cook, because I'm not really very good at it.
Okay. What is a particular superstitious? Do you have to do anything before you get to a volleyball match? Do you have to do anything as an individual or a team? Avery?
I have to make sure my shoes are tied really tight before every game. That's it really it though.
Okay, Addy, any superstitions that come to mind for you?
No, I don't think so.
What is a particular subject then, Addy, that you've enjoyed the most during your time at Northern Cass?
Probably foods or child development.
Okay. Faith, same question. Anything that comes to mind for superstition?
If I play really well with one certain hairstyle, then I just keep doing it throughout the year and hope that I'll have another good game with that same hairstyle.
Okay. Faith, what's the toughest position to play in volleyball?
I'd say middle or libero, probably.
Okay. Addy?
Probably libero.
Libero. Avery?
I feel like setter.
Okay. Any particular reason why setter is more difficult than any other position in your mind?
I feel like the setters get blamed for a lot of things. And you have to hustle a lot, and you always have to know where the ball is. players on the team obviously have to know, but like the starter just really like takes control.
Yeah, it's kind of like a catcher in baseball or softball, so to speak. You're always involved with the particular play. Libero, though, for Faith and Addy, why was Libero maybe for your guys' most difficult? Addy, we'll start with you.
Probably because that's the hardest thing for me, is passing the ball. So I cannot imagine that being my only job on the court.
Yeah, Faith?
I find it really hard to anticipate where the ball is gonna go. So I feel like they always have to be a step ahead and just like know where the ball is gonna go.
I like it. Final thing for you guys here at Northern Cast, just take us through a little bit, just in general, what's the week of the buildup? What's it been like so far, knowing from last week on Thursday in Lisbon to where you are now? How much fun has it been for you guys to be part of this team that's heading to state? Addy, we'll start with you here. What's the last kind of, 72 hours, so to speak, been like for you?
Well, we had to get some rest after the championship game, but we've had a lot of like team bonding and spending time together, and then working hard, like knowing like our mindset and all that needs to be geared towards the state tournament and just getting ready for that.
Avery?
Yeah, team bonding was really fun. And then we're gonna have practice coming up here, and I think we're gonna be really locked for that. And then the last few days we've just been getting a lot of rest.
Faith?
Team bonding we had the other night and had a little team dinner and some activities and getting rest like Addy said. And then for me, I've been picking up some groceries and stuff for the kids.
Awesome. Well, girls, thanks so much for your time, and best of luck here at state coming up here later this week at the Fargo Dome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Head coach from the Northern Cache Jaguars, Angie Johnson, joins us now as part of our state volleyball preview. Angie, we've heard from all the players, so now let's hear from you. What makes this year's version of 2023 Northern Cache Volleyball Jaguars similar, different, all the above, so to speak, compared to last year, the year prior, and so forth for you?
I would say, there's a lot of similarities just because I think every year these girls learn from the prior seniors that were on the team. I would say the biggest difference, like I've said before, is that we were a little bit more relaxed this year, that these seniors, like I would say last year, the seniors were like, hey, we got to get ready. We got to do this. We got to do goals. It was very like things happened the same every single time. And now I walk in the locker room and everybody's still doing their hair and still getting dressed. And still, it's like, there's no urgency at all, but it's okay though. If that's what they're comfortable with, I had to tell myself to kind of relax a little bit once I found out like this is what it's going to be. And I just need to let them be themselves. And if they're playing well, then I guess we'll just go with it.
And then for you too, Angie, I know we don't maybe technically talk a lot about some of your assistant coaches or some of the support program that is here, but anytime you make it to a state tournament, there's a lot of the old adage, it takes a village, no matter what the sport is or what the particular, promotion, job is at the end of the day. So how about your assistants? Just kind of what have they meant to you in the program, whether it's this year or some of them who've been with you for the last couple of seasons here?
Yeah, I'll first start off by talking about Hannah Perry. She's our athletic trainer. She doesn't get all the accolades that she deserves. These girls trust her and they go to her every single day, and she helps keep us injury free. So, and she's been really fun to get to know over the last couple of years. And then Jamie, her and I are kind of very similar, and we can kind of joke around. And I would say that she brings a sense of intensity into the gym. I'm pretty intense, but she brings a whole different perspective. And she was a great addition to our coaching staff a couple of years ago too. She brought in some new eyes and really made our defense what it is now. She really got us to get our body behind the ball and make sure that we're doing all those little things correctly. And then with Beth, she's been with me since we started here 5 years ago now, but I also got to coach her when she was in high school. So kind of a fun little full circle moment, but she, as she puts it, she's the calm to my bold. She really keeps me sane. She's not afraid to tell me like, hey, you need to calm down. You're being a little bit too crazy right now. So I think she keeps me in check a lot, and she just is a sense of, like I said, calmness. Whenever I can get pretty intense, she's there, and I tell everybody she's the brains of the operation. She knows the rotations. She knows all these little things, and anytime I have a question about the rules, she's on it and she has it right there. So it's definitely a team effort.
And then for you here, Angie, as we take a look at the state tournament, I was looking down and you played half the state tournament field at some point here this season. So you kind of understand what it takes to get to this point of the year playing good competition. You go up against Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion in that 4-5 matchup. What's one thing that you've seen about Lemoore that's going to be a challenge? You've seen them a couple times here this year, in tournaments. So you're going to see them again here for a third time. But what's going to make out of the Lobos be a quality matchup coming up in the state quarterfinals?
When we saw them in Delax, I mean, they were very scrappy. They got to a lot of stuff and kept the ball alive. And then one of their middle can hit the ball really hard. She can hit from anywhere on the court. So we just need to make sure that we know where she is and that we just try to contain her at the net.
And for you, Angie, is it different this year when you come into a state tournament as a seed, as a high seed, as a low seed, unseeded? How do you view it from a coach's perspective once you finally figure out, okay, here's the 5 seeds, here's the 4 matchups, or is it, let's just roll out the volleyball and play whether we got to play at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 7 o'clock at night?
Well, I'm happy that we play at 7 because I think all season we haven't played well when we play at like 1 or 3. So I'm happy that we play at 7. I mean, this year, I don't want to say the expectations are lower because we still have high expectations for ourselves and we want to play well, but it's actually kind of nice going in as the 4 seed because you're kind of just, we're there. And like you said, we just want to play some volleyball. We've seen all these teams. I think anything can happen, obviously, at the state tournament, and we just have to believe that.
What has made Northern Cass volleyball consistent? Because I'm sure you get asked this question a ton as of late, going 4 straight years. Is someone finally going to beat you out of Region 1? All that type of stuff. But what makes this volleyball team so consistent to go through a region tournament, to go through the regular season, take a lot of people's best shot and still find a way to get to state?
It's all on the girls. I mean, they come in, it starts in June. They're all ready to go. I mean, we do skills throughout the whole summer. Their willingness to go to team camp. This past summer, we went to Nebraska, the Huskers team camp, and their parents. I mean, their parents are willing to just kind of like, where do you need me to send the check and where are we going? And like, how can we help? And that's literally every single season. And I think that's just a testament to how successful we've been. They're willing to put in the work and just the support from our community and school as well.
What do you hope that they take away from you? And you've done this now a handful of times, as you mentioned, being there 5 years, but what do you hope the senior class or the players just kind of take away from you when their time with volleyball is done here at Northern Cass?
Well, obviously I want them to get the most out of their time with us and I want them to have a good time. But ultimately, I mean, everybody kind of knows, I think we teach a lot of life lessons in our gym and we try to make sure that we're being good humans and that along with obviously good teammates as well. So I think just if they can take away anything from our program is just how to be a good person and that, throughout life, you're going to be thrown a bunch of different challenges and you may not, agree with some decisions. It's just kind of all those little life lessons that you're going to face in the adult world. And they just need, in our gym, just trying to teach them those.
Going through some of the seniors here, we could talk about every player, but I'll just kind of minimize it to the seniors here before I let you go, Angie. Abby Weible, we'll start with her, back row player. What does she provide and what does she mean to Northern Cass volleyball?
She's super intense, very talkative in the back row and a good leader for those underclassmen DSs, and a little bit different role for her this year being a DS, but when she goes in, I mean, she's ready to go and I can see the intensity in her eyes that she wants every ball to come to her. So just really proud of her and everything that she's done this season.
Addy Resse kind of stepping into that 6'2" spot, as we mentioned before, with Noelle and her last year, and then being now this senior this season with Paige. How have you seen her kind of just grow as that senior?
Just really evolved into a good leader. I would say she's been a great source for Paige throughout the season. And she put in a lot of work in the off season in JO volleyball and this summer. And so it was great to see her come back and with all new skills, which is great. And obviously she plays at a very high level, and pairing her with Josie, I mean, they can get a lot of work done up at the net.
And someone that maybe, had a spot last year, but now with a bigger role, obviously this year, in Ari Anderson. How have you seen her kind of be stepping into that, senior leadership, but also starting role this season?
Yeah, so last year she was mainly on the bench. She's so loud and so energetic, and she is like the ultimate hype woman to everybody. And so that was kind of her role last year, and her stepping in. I mean, I love that she's left-handed. It throws a lot of people off, but also, yeah, just working really hard. She's been staying late for practices, you know, at the beginning of the season and this summer, just asking so many questions and wanting that starting spot and obviously earning it.
For Josie Jensen, I know it's sometimes players have different meanings to you, and I know we've talked to you about her many times before, but you know, Josie Jensen, final 3 games here, just like all these seniors, what has she provided?
I mean, I've said it before. She's just, I say it like she's our big man at the net, and she gets her hands on a lot of balls and saves our butt a lot in the back row, but just a great leader and very coachable. And able to just implement anything that we tell her to do. I mean, last year she played all the way around. That was new for her. And now this year with a little bit different role, like wanting to give her some rest so she's not getting so tired in these tournaments. But yeah, she's going to be one that's going to be hard to replace, obviously from a physicality standpoint, like up at the net and everything, but just for her leadership.
And Ellie Lucas, we've just kind of seen her with her older sister, Emma. We saw Ellie come up, kind of giving the opportunities, you know, as a sophomore, junior, now as a senior, you know, getting even more opportunities being a starter. How have you seen her just continue to grow through her time?
Her confidence has just gotten, you know, a lot better throughout the past couple of years. I think when Emma was still here, Ellie was still kind of in that little sister mode. And I think that last year she got a lot more confidence swinging on that right side and the outside, and now this year she has stepped into that leadership role, and obviously she's playing all the way around. She came in this summer and was like, I want to play all the way around. I don't want to just play front row, and she's earned that spot too. But just a good leader. She brings she kind of balances out Josie's intensity. She's a little bit more goofy, and so I think that helps a lot too when you get into these big matches, because some people respond to intensity and some people respond to a little bit more of a relaxed feeling. So I think those two are a good pair.
Final thing for you, Angie, before we let you go, what is this week like? You've been through it as a coach. What's the buildup from when you win a region title throughout the weekend to find out who your opposition is going to be, to maybe do a little film study on them, to do a little, you know, self-internal study on yourself before you finally get to that quarterfinal round match at a state tournament? What's this week of volleyball like for you?
So I watched some film on Lemoore. I think in the past years we've all watched film, and it's just been really overwhelming for the girls. So we'll kind of practice. We're just going to practice a lot of very basic things, because at this point the basics are what is going to win these big games. But it's just getting them, one, to believe that we can defend our title. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of work. It's not going to be easy, and we need to go game by game, but trying to focus just on Thursday right now, but just planning all the fun stuff. They're really excited. We get to stay in a hotel. So all that fun, those fun little things that come with going to state.
Angie, as always, thanks so much for your time, and best of luck here at the Fargo Dome.
Thank you.
That does it for our state volleyball preview show. Again, thanks to head coach Angie Johnson and the Northern Cast volleyball players for making some time earlier in the week as we get you set for the state tournament. A reminder, we will continue to have live audio only coverage of Northern Cast State volleyball on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. To find the stream link, go to yourliveevent.com, or if you missed any of our Region 1 volleyball tournament, you can do so and watch on demand again by searching yourliveevent.com, or simply go to our YouTube page. Thanks again, and that does it for our 2023 state volleyball preview show. Northern Cast goes up against Lemoore Litchfield Marion at 7 o'clock on Thursday night from the Fargo Dome. Again, we will have live audio only coverage for you right here on yourliveevent.com.